Well, we're joined now from Westminster by the Labour MP for Rotherham and child abuse campaigner, Sarah Champion. Sarah Champion, 6 months on from the damning Alexis J report, another damning report today, and you still have councillors questioning almost that any of this ever happened. I mean, you must be pretty disgusted with some of your Labour colleagues today.
I'm disgusted with all the people that let down the victims and the survivors in Rotherham. I mean, since the J report started, I've been working with a lot of them and trying to get them justice, get them support, just get them recognition. And we've consistently had doors shut in our face, which is just not acceptable.
What do you think went wrong? Because what you're left with this report is that this was not about incompetence, but about something much worse than incompetence.
That's the most challenging thing, isn't it? Because it's a cultural shift that we've got to change. I know that there's been a lot of frontline staff who have really been actively trying to get the voice of the victim out there, trying to change the system, but they've had it just totally shut down. There seems to be a sludge of sort of middle management that are just denying that this is going on, and then not reporting up to the councillors, which is why we've got the scenes that we've seen today.
What do you think went wrong? At Children's Services, the report identifies today, the people charged with looking after some of the most vulnerable children in your town suffered from a huge inertia, leaving cases to drift. It became normal to accept that children under 16 were pregnant or endlessly having terminations. I mean, how has that been allowed to happen in your view?
It's beyond any normal logic, isn't it? Because it is absolutely disgusting that people employed to protect children just disregarded them in this way. I mean, what I think it actually was probably about, when I'm trying to fathom the unfathomable, is that they cared more about their policies than they did about the person that was in front of them. You know, these people should have constantly been saying, you know, what can we best do to serve the community of Rotherham and to protect the children of Rotherham? And I think what they were actually saying was, how do we meet our targets? How do we meet our policy commitments?
Now, Louise Casey is not trying to be party political quite clearly in this report, but she does say that Labour has had such a strong hold on the council for years and years that in essence nobody was checking them, and that is a real fundamental failure.
I think what was actually going on was that the councillors didn't know or didn't scrutinise, but I also think that there was a culture of sort of blocking the councillors when they did try to put things forward.
But are you saying the councillors are not at fault? I mean, it seems to me, reading that report, there's a sort of arrogant disregard for what was going on.
Yeah, I completely agree, and no, I think that the Casey report is absolutely right, absolutely on the money, and I think it was right that the cabinet members have stepped down. What I'm trying to get is sort of a new way forward. I met with David Cameron today specifically to try and get additional resources into this town, because for 5 months I've been asking for that, and for 5 months we've had nothing. We've just been left to flounder. So what I'm really hoping for is now we can draw a line, we can get the expertise, and we can get the support from government, because Rotherham just deserves so much better than it's had. It's not right what's been allowed to happen.
Do you feel any unease about the last couple of years you've been an MP there? You must have known the men who walked out, even today, questioning the report by Alexis J, questioning the report by Louise Casey. Was there anything more you could have done? I mean, were you urging these people to step down? Were you urging them to change?
I keep on asking myself that, because I know when I've been with the victims and you hear the horrors that have been going on, you think, you know, how can you change a system like this? And I find the culture of denial and the fixation on the numbers, you know, was it 1,400? Was it 1,500? I mean, for me, just one child being let down is just so inexcusable. And I think that Rotherham is right to be absolutely disgusted with the service or complete lack of service that it's had. So what I want to do is try and redress this and move forward now.
I mean, clearly the council has been found unfit for purpose, but let's look really quickly, if we can, at how the police have dealt with this. The report talks about one girl being told by a police officer, you aren't the first girl to be raped by X, and you won't be the last. Inspectors for Louise Casey were told the girls were regarded as slags. I mean, is South Yorkshire Police fit for purpose?
Well, again, I think that that's a real question that needs to be asked, so I'm glad that the National Crime Agency has come in. I mean, my personal experience was that the way that the police dealt with victims and survivors with just complete disregard was basically inhuman. Obviously, this isn't everyone, but the fact that, you know, who do you go to when something so horrendous has happened to you? You go to your council, you go to your police, and these people, the victims, were constantly denied that. So I think today is victory for them. Really briefly,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but would you tell a girl who comes to you and says, I'm being raped, as many girls did over the years, would you tell her to go to South Yorkshire Police today?
Oh, that's my hesitation is sort of the answer to that. Yes, and if that doesn't work, then come to me, come to your MP, because we will get you justice.
Sarah Champion, thank you very much for joining us, John.
Thank you.